we've got cost of waiting, we've got move up buyer, we've got refis. It does look like people want to make sure how to create a star moment with a refi. So it looks like that's going to be the winner here, Brian. We got MI options, a couple votes for that. So, clearly refi star moment is what people want to train on. Real quick, I want to cover that at a strategic level, and then Brian will do some training on that. So let me share my screen one more time, and then Brian, I'm going to let you kind of take over. So strategically, guys, this is what we want to get you guys away from. This is a class to learn how to go from being a status quo fee worksheet loan officer, where the way you're delivering advice isn't as clear as it could be. It's definitely a commodity. So to go from being a fee worksheet loan officer to a black belt mortgage coach. And since you guys said you wanted to start with a refi, this is a great one. And I did an interview with Amber, so that's available on our YouTube channel if you want to hear from her scripting, her strategy around that. She always puts a video on her refi TCAs. She doesn't always put a refi on her purchase TCAs because lots of times she's meeting those folks on Zoom, and she'll put the video on after the Zoom meeting. But every refi TCA, she puts a video on. And then this is the move, and this is the standard. Brian's going to teach this in a little bit more detail in just a minute. But there's column A, which is the current loan, pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully you know how to create a TCA. There's column B, which is the refi. And what's the monthly savings? And the guy's column C, this is how you create a star moment. Star stands for something you'll always remember. Star, something you'll always remember. Or they'll always remember. They'll always remember. And so just breaking that down, refi in column B, what's the monthly savings? Column C, take that savings, apply it to the mortgage. How much faster would you pay it off? With a video, with a TCA. And guys, that'll optimize your conversion. That'll be a big move in today's market. Also, take a screenshot of this. Everything that Brian teaches you will fit into this bucket. Options. So you're always showing options to a family. You're always showing the cost over different windows of time that are relevant to that family. And you're always looking for ways to bring strategies. So like in that refi strategy we just did, we showed the prepay strategy. What if you took the monthly savings and you prepaid it? One more strategy before I go, just because I think it's on point. And remember, guys, we got 12 different strategies to be a black belt. You need to learn them all. So that means this Friday class, we do it every week, 11 o'clock, and we can cover different strategies on different weeks. But here's another one. And this one uses another strategy where Amber, who closed 45 loans, whoa, hang on. My screen got the better of me there. All right, we're back. In column B, she shows the refi. So in this particular use case, it would have saved the family $322 a month, but they wanted to move up. They were like, hey, we don't want to fix up the home we're in. We don't want to consolidate our debt. We'd like a bigger home with another room in another school district. What would that look like? And she said, well, you qualify with 5% down. Your payment would go up by $507. So if they just kept their current home, bought this new home, 5% down, payment goes up. Now they had equity. And guys, that's one of the things that last year in real estate, one thing that won more than anything else, equity. The average equity that homeowners have in America after last year is 188,000. So that's just industry. That's just the macroeconomics. A lot of people have equity. This family had 125,000 in equity. And she said, well, you could sell that home and then you could take your 125,000 in equity and prepay your mortgage and then recast it. So take the 125,000, buy down the mortgage, recast the payment, goes down to $164. Brian will show you how to do this. Or you could buy the new home, 5% down, take that 125 after you sell your other house and invest it. This is a strategy, guys. And what would that look like over time? Now, this is what the family decided to do. because in that particular case, it helped them increase their cash position, which they wanted to do after going through COVID. It helped them still, build equity faster because they bought a more expensive home. And two, they got their dream home. So they picked option three. And then the best part about this strategy, guys, is that the agent, she was able to come back to an agent and say, hey, let me show you how I took a refi. They want to move up. Would you mind listing their home? And they're a move up buyer. So guys, that's what today is called about, is how to be a black belt. Put your questions in chat. Make this as active and engaging as you want it to be. I am going to stay on the call and add some feedback here and there. But Brian, I'll turn it over to you to do some black belt training.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Sir Dave. All right, so we did have a question from John, and John, if I'm interpreting your question the correct way, you're just wondering where would I go on the YouTube channel to be able to find like a recording of today's session. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you can see there's a lot of content. So for those of you that haven't subscribed yet, highly encourage you to do that. But once you subscribe to it, I'm going to title this particular call Black Belt Workshop. So you could do a search on our YouTube channel, Black Belt Workshop. And as Dave mentioned, this is going to be an ongoing throughout 2021. We're going to be hosting this call every Wednesday at the same time and covering, as many of these different strategies as we possibly can that are important for you folks to learn how to utilize to have the conversations that you need to with your borrowers when they apply. Not every strategy is going to apply with every single borrower. It's kind of like, those of you that are pretty handy around the house, you have a toolbox, right? And in your toolbox, you've got a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, crescent wrench, hammer. You just need to be able to recognize the job and the tool that it's calling for. So you can pull it out of your toolbox and then be able to employ the particular strategy that we're going to be utilizing. So based upon the feedback that we've gotten, looks like, the market conditions are very much geared towards refinances right now. So for the majority of you, it looks like you want to focus on refinance strategy. So we'll cover a couple of them. Actually, we can cover a cash out refi, a rate and term refi, and you can see the list that we have here that we're going to go through. So we'll try and get through as many of these as we possibly can. And again, this is not set up as a beginner workshop, as Dave mentioned. If you're looking for how to build very first total cost analysis, go to our website, and if you click on calendar right here, it's under the lender services. If you click on calendar, this will give you a full list of the different training workshops that we provide you every Monday right here, 9 a.m. Pacific time, Intro to Mortgage Coach.
Hey,
For
Brian,
those of you that might have a question, we have a trainer available for you every Thursday at 9 a.m. to help you out. So I'm going to take this link and I'm going to put it in the chat area for you. And I've also, some of you already recognized that I placed those links so that you don't have to take shots. One of the things that, Dave shared with you, 3 essentials of smart mortgages. I would recommend that print this out and stick it to your monitor so that every time that you're building a Mortgage Coach presentation, you're trying to incorporate as many essentials. Well, I mean, they're essential. They should be, every one of them should be included, but as many of them with cost analysis presentation as possible, because that will make you stand out and create a star moment with your clients.
Also, guys, we do have a playlist called MC Black Belt Training. So I'm updating the description. It was just called MC Black Belt, but I'm adding training to it. So there is a playlist. And Brian, not only are there a number of interviews that I've done that I think are relevant to being a black belt, but we'll make sure that every video you need to be an MC Black Belt, we have a playlist for you. So check that out.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into a refi one. So I'm just going to pop into this one, the rate and term refi. So it'll share with you, the different types of conversations that you can have with your clients when we're presenting a refinance total cost analysis presentation with your borrowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it with you folks. And I've got two goals in mind in doing this. First goal is that I want you to experience a total cost analysis presentation from the perspective of a client, of one of your borrowers. So I want to show you how you can utilize Mortgage Coach and using this live reporting, live TCA presentation method with your clients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this presentation with you. So that's my first goal, is that you can see from the borrower's perspective. And I think this is going to help you understand the why. Why would I want to invest and do this, so that I can differentiate myself from my competition. I can provide my borrower with a wow experience where they've shared with you the acronym STAR, show them something they will always remember you by. So the more STAR moments that you can create with your client when you're presenting a presentation to them, the more it's going to help you. It's going to help you with your conversion. The more wow moments, if you can get the client to say wow a couple times when you're presenting a presentation to them, I think you probably know that that's going to be a deal that you're definitely going to get. So I'm going to take the link to this particular presentation. I'm going to put it in the chat area for you folks. So here's the link. This is what you actually send your clients, and you can deliver it to them via text. If you've got the mobile app installed on your phone, you can text the presentation to them, or you can send it to them in an email. And if you send it to them in an email, what you may want to do, this is a nice personal touch that you can add, deliver a presentation to your clients via email. Just go ahead and bring this over. So obviously you can take and drop that dynamic hyperlink into the body of an email. And some people actually create email templates. This is another way. If you're interested in working faster, maybe you can invest a little bit of time up front, create some email templates where all you have to do is drop in the name of your client and then the new hyperlink for them. So if you're going to have a conversation with your client about a refinance transaction, a purchase transaction, whatever it is, you can create email templates that'll help you work faster. But always try and personalize it. So rather than send the client something that looks like this, maybe I'm speaking to the Smith family and I'm putting together a mortgage plan for them. So simply just type out the text that you want to have displayed in the email, highlight it, right click, and this is assuming everybody's using Outlook. But right here where it says hyperlink, in the address section, that's where you place your Mortgage Coach link. So they would simply click on this now to view your Mortgage Coach presentation. And again, I placed that link in the chat area. And I would like you folks to click on that link so that you can have the borrower experience. And what happens is the borrower just simply clicks on this, the presentation populates, they click on the standard disclosure language, and then they'll be able to view your presentation. Now, I mentioned that there's two methods for me wanting to share the presentation to you this way. When you look at this, and after I've walked you through the presentation, you might see that this is a presentation that you would like to utilize with your clients. So by clicking on that link, it's not going to be deleted. You're going to be able to build the exact same presentation or components of it that you might want to share with your borrower. So those are the two reasons. So you can have the borrower's experience, and then if you like what you see, you'll all have a template that you'll be able to utilize to share with your very own clients. So right now, if you take a look up here in the top right-hand corner, I'm able to see as the mortgage professional, the loan officer view, how many of you followed the instructions, how many of you actually clicked on the link. And you can see up here right now, there's about 8 of you that have clicked on the link. And I know, wow, we've got quite a few more people in the workshop than 8. I would like to see that number at least be 15 or so. So come on, folks, if you can go ahead and click on the link, it's located in the chat area. I placed it there a couple times. And then those of you that have clicked on it, you can go ahead and move that over. If you have 2 monitors, move it over to your secondary monitor so you're able to see the webinar on one and then the presentation on the other. But again, like I said, this will give you the ability to, like I said, if you like what you see, you'll be able to share it with your own clients and build the presentation. So if you take a look at the presentation right now, obviously a refinance, right? You can see here's the borrower's current loan, and there's actually 4 different product options in this presentation. And when I'm starting off the conversation, maybe I don't want to show them all 4 options right off the bat. Maybe I want to bring them up one at a time and get their feedback on the product option before moving on or before sharing too much information with them. Because if I get their buy-in on the first one, I'm done, right? I may want to enhance it, but no need to show them everything if I've already get their buy-in. So I'm going to go ahead. If you take a look within the Mortgage Coach Advice Engine, what I've done is I've removed some color here. I've removed the color from these particular squares. So now when you look at the actual presentation, the borrower is only going to see their current loan in comparison to the first option that I'm going to present to them. And the thing to recognize is that this is a dynamic way of presenting loans to them. So you can change any of the data while you've got them on the phone. And what I'd recommend, here's another tip for you folks, is that don't send them the presentation until you've actually got them on the phone or are about to get them on the phone, because the value of that is that you want to be present and get their feedback rather than them going through what you're presenting them, thinking that they know everything about it and saying, oh, you know what? I don't really need to talk to them. I've got all the information I need. I'm going to go call 2 or 3 other people. You want to have them present and you be present at the same time as you're going through the presentation with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off. I'm going to go ahead and begin the presentation by
Brian,
clearing all this out.
Brian, real quick, if you could let me share my screen one more time, because I
Yeah.
am going to have to jump everybody. If anybody does have a question for me, bring it now. I will try to listen in and answer some questions at the end again. But I did, the person who asked about, hey, where can I get some black belt training in our group? I just want you to see that we have a playlist called MC Black Belt Training. I just put the order of it, just winged it right now. We'll update this as we go. But I put Amber's turn refis into move up buyers at the top, just because that's a hot strategy. I mean, that's like a way you could do a realtor meeting around that this week and just blow realtors' minds saying, hey, let me meet with your realtors and I'll turn refis into move ups. I put number 2, an edit. Now this is an edit from a full 1-hour interview with Amber, how to make refis easier, faster, and better. This one right here, this is Kevin Carlson, must watch for any Mortgage Coach Black Belt. The month I interviewed him, he closed 100 loans. So he's a baller. And it was all around efficient, effective, time-saving ways he's doing refis. He's like, I could have never done 100 loans in a single month without Mortgage Coach, but it's like how he's using video, how he's presenting it, must watch. Well, also there's 2 more big ideas. Like I would say the 4 most important strategies in today's market, aside from purchase options and a basic rate and term refi, like those are like no brainers, but other big opportunities in today's market that you guys got to put on your list. You got to be able to do a rent versus own. So while Brian may not have time to cover that today, we'll make sure like how to do a Mortgage Coach rent versus own, because first-time home buyers are huge, 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 huge opportunity. You got to know how to do a debt consult loan. Let's face it, when you talk to a family, you want to be able to assess, hey, do you like your current home? If they want to move up, move. Let's do a move up analysis. And they're like, yeah, I love it. Now you need to be able to do a financial makeover and ask the right questions so that you can, 1, look at strategies to consolidate non-tax deductible debt, and looks for strategies to take cash out to improve their home. So you got to be able to do a debt consult loan. So just make sure you make a note of that. Got to do a move up analysis, got to do a first-time home buyer, and you got to be able to do a debt consult. Brian's not going to be able to cover all that today, but now you've got a playlist that you can go and train 24/7 on. And then remember, guys, every Wednesday, 11 o'clock Pacific, we will be doing black belt training. please share that with other loan officers. I want to see a big group every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. So if you know other loan officers that want to be a black belt at advice, tell them to come every Wednesday at 11. We'll be training on that. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Okay. So, and that gave more of you time to click on that link. It looks like 21 of you have now clicked on the link. And what I meant by save this as a template, you have this presentation now. So you're going to be able to copy that template and build it within your own Mortgage Coach account so that you could use this to have the same type of conversations with your clients. So after you've confirmed that the client has accessed the presentation, you can go ahead and begin. You can see that there's no highlights on the presentation right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the borrower's current loan, the column right here that I've labeled current, and you can see it highlights all those details within the loan. Now, as I do this, okay, can everybody with a show of hands confirm that it's also highlighting the 21 of you? It's also highlighting on your screen as well. Awesome. Okay, I see a lot of hands going up. Awesome. Okay. So I might start off the conversation with my borrower by confirming that I do in fact have all the details about their current loan correct, what their current interest rate is, the amount of money that they currently owe on their mortgage, what their all-in monthly payment is. That includes, principal, interest, and if it includes the taxes and the insurance. You can see here where the payment's broken down. So I can confirm all those details that I have them correct. And I can also confirm the timeline that they currently have. This freedom point represents when the borrower's current loan will be paid off. They've already paid into this particular loan 4.5 years. So now we can shift now and provide the borrower with our first option. You can see here, I've labeled it option 1. And then have a conversation about the potential rate reduction that we're going to be able to provide the client, what their new monthly payment's going to look like, what their savings is going to look like. So in this particular case, you can see here that they're going to be saving about $202.44. That's represented here numerically, and up in this top graph area, graphically, you can see I can highlight that as well and emphasize, how much of a savings that it's going to produce to the client. Now we can also have a conversation with the client about, how much interest they're going to save over the time that they're going to have this loan, or how long they're going to be in the house. These time horizons are completely customizable based upon what your borrower's goals are or the types of conversations that you want to have with the client. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is that if you got the borrower's buy-in at this point, great. If you get the yes and they're moving forward, that's great. What I would probably recommend is that you do provide just one more step and show them how, by paying what they might be saving towards principal reduction, just to create some more value. And I'm going to show you how to do that at this point. If they're kind of hovering a little bit, this is where you want to make sure our essentials, okay? If you take a look up here where it says 3 essentials, make sure that you're always providing the borrower with options, right? So if you've only given them one option, they can only respond in one of 2 ways, right? Yes, the answer you're hoping for, or no, I'm going to call a couple other, borrowers, or a couple more mortgage companies. So always best to provide them with options. So I'm going to come over here now, and maybe I didn't get their buy-in just yet. So now I'm going to go ahead and provide them with a secondary option, option 2. Now, when I do that, option 1's going to appear and option 2 will pop up as well here in just a moment. There it goes. Now I can go ahead and have a conversation with the borrower about the secondary option, maybe clear out the highlights, and talk about this 2.99 rate. You've been hearing rates advertised in the 2% range, and we can get you any type of rate that you want. It's just a matter of, does it make sense for you cost-wise? Because it's about rate, but it's also about the total cost as well. So Now we can sell them 2.99, how much savings, additional savings is going to produce. And then we can start talking about this area over here. And it looks like we've already got, Stephen's already got a question about this. Okay, what is a savings over 34 months? Why did I choose 34 months? Anybody have an idea as to why I chose 34 months for that particular presentation? Yeah, exactly. It is the break-even point. So if you let your cursor drift, notice when I let the cursor drift in these different areas, see how the pop-up occurs? So this is going to help both you and the borrower understand the data that's available in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the more info button here and go a little bit deeper into this conversation about, okay, here's the amount of interest that the borrower is going to pay in 34 months on their current loan. Looking at this column here, option 1, this is the amount of interest that they'll pay on the new loan at that slightly higher rate, the 3.25 rather than the 2.99. And then here's the 2.99 rate and the amount of interest that they're going to pay. Now, in order to get that new loan, they are, of course, going to have to pay closing costs, right? So here are the different closing costs that are associated with those product options. When you take a look at those two, adding them together, you can see that for the first product option, because it has lower closing costs, that's where the break-even point occurs. At the 34th month, the amount of interest plus the closing costs will be lower than the amount of interest that they would be paying on their current loan. They do have a little bit more time before the break-even point occurs on that second option. You can see if they're still in the red by about $1,000. But if they intend upon staying in the house for a long time or keeping that loan for a long time, then you can transition the conversation to this area and point out that, the interest paid in 30 years, if you take a look, it might be more beneficial for you to make that investment to get that lower rate at the 2.99%. So this is where you have the opportunity to start painting a picture. You're not only, say, telling them what you can do, but you're also graphically showing. So it's telling and showing and empowering them to make the decision as to what's going to be best for them. They're taking an ownership interest in making the decision between option 1 and option 2. When they take that ownership, that's where it helps you with your conversion. Now, those are just a couple products that I provided on this particular refinance presentation. Now you can go ahead and create a star moment and take it a step further. And what I mean by a star moment is, let's go ahead and let's say that the borrower has agreed that, maybe it's not worth the investment to get that 2.99 rate. They're more focused towards the first product option. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go again into presentation. I'm going to remove the noise from that product that they've given me feedback that they're no longer interested in. So if you look at the presentation now, it's only going to show the first product option. So why keep the noise of something that is going to be distracting for the client? We've got their commitment. They're moving forward with this one. So now let's create a star moment with them. Let's show them what they could do with that savings of $202.44. What can we do to show them how to perhaps get out of debt more quickly? Remember the essentials here, okay? Analyze the cost over time. Analyze strategies to reduce the debt. And again, they may or may not act upon this. It's up to them, but let's show them what this same payment option would look like. So I'm going to come over here now and click on same payment. So now what they'll do is they'll see the option that they've elected to move forward on. And then with this same payment option, what it's going to do is it's going to show them how to utilize that monthly savings to actually get ahead on their mortgage. So they're going to take the $202.44 and apply it towards principal reduction. And what that will do for them is it will actually accelerate their freedom point ahead of their current loan. Remember, they have 25 and a half years existing on their current loan. Well, now they're going to have less than 24. The big factor that I like to point out over here, using the interest in 30 years, look how that's going to have an impact on how much interest that they're going to save over the time that they have that loan. That's a savings. The differential between these two, you folks are great in math. What is that? About $37,000 over the 30-year period. And that's by them just maintaining the same payment that they're making right now. They're not married to making to that payment. They're not contractually obligated to making that same payment. In the event that the water heater breaks, the car needs a new set of tires, whatever life event occurs, they still have the freedom to not apply that towards principal reduction if they don't want to, or if they need that extra money to be able to do something for a car repair or home repair or home improvement or whatever the case is. So that's one way that you can create that star moment with your client. You're showing them something that they'll always remember you by. So you're showing them how to accelerate and get out of debt more quickly. The other thing that you could do is show them how to earn interest rather than pay interest. So take that money and put that money into an investment account. And anybody working with financial planners in the workshop, raise your hand if you're working with financial. Let me go ahead first. I'm going to lower the hands, but there's a lot of, there's a lot of hands going up. So this is a way that you can incorporate your financial advisors into the conversation and refer them business, right? Or perhaps if they have a financial advisor, if your borrower has a financial advisor, ask to speak with that financial advisor to get the numbers correct for what type of rate of return that they could expect to get on their investments. And you folks are probably curious, okay, where within the advice engine am I making these adjustments to the presentation? How do I set this up? So if you look over here in my panel over here, I call it my quick navigation panel. In the analysis area right here, this is where I make all the adjustments to the time horizon. You can see the 34 months here, the long-term analysis. The picture is currently showing interest in MI paid, right? It's showing how much interest is being paid in 30 years. Let's switch the conversation now, and I'm going to click on the Adjust Reinvestment Strategy button. So you'll notice that all the options, the borrower's current loan, along with all 4 product options, are available here. And what I've done is I've taken the savings, the $202.44, and put it in this box right here. See where it says reduction payment. So what that's doing is every month, the borrower would be putting that $202.44 towards principal reduction, and that would accelerate the freedom point, the point at which that loan will be paid off, to 23.83 years. I'd also like to draw your attention to directly below the freedom point, there is another row item there that's labeled MI cutoff month. So if you're doing a purchase transaction and maybe you're working with a borrower that's not happy about having to pay monthly mortgage insurance, you could utilize this to show them and put together a plan to have them get that mortgage insurance removed at a particular point in time. All you would do is put in a certain dollar amount towards principal reduction. It'll also show them how to accelerate paying off the mortgage insurance. Now, if you take a look over here, this column labeled investment, I've taken the $202.44 and put it in this box right down here, where it's showing investment payment. So they're taking that money and putting it into an investment vehicle that has a rate of return of 5%. That's where the financial advisor comes into play. You get the financial advisor's recommendation as to what type of rate of return they could expect. And you can make adjustments to this time horizon. You can see over 30 years, they're going to accumulate almost $168,482 over that time frame by taking that savings and putting in that investment vehicle. So now you're showing the borrower how to earn interest rather than pay interest. And if you wanted to, it's up to them. If they wanted to, they could, by putting a check mark in this box, it will show them how, at what point in time, if they took that money and applied it towards paying off the mortgage, how quickly they would be able to do that. So I placed that color in that square. And what it's doing now is it's showing them that if they wanted to, they could pay the loan off in 22 and a half years with that investment that they've been putting money in. So again, just different ways that you can have conversations with your clients to create more value for yourself. So it helps you transition the conversation away from strictly talking about what's your rates, what's your fees. You all have to have that conversation with your client. There's no getting around it, but that doesn't have to be what the sole or the bulk, the majority of your conversation with your client is when you use Mortgage Coach to paint a bigger picture for them. So you notice here it says interest in 30 years. I'm going to change that to net worth, because if we're talking about an investment, probably want to show them, the value of that and what it's going to do. And why not show it to them graphically, right? So you notice I've changed it to net worth. The graph's going to update. And the other thing that I might do is I'm going to remove, like I said, option 2, and we'll show them the two options that they're most interested in. So the presentation is going to update. Option 2 will be eliminated, and they'll be able to focus solely on option 1 and what that investment's going to do for them. Now, look at the graph over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Look at the graph over here in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you take a look, you can see what their net worth is going to look like here. The green portion is from the property appreciation, and you can make adjustments to whatever appreciation rate's applicable to your area, but the orange is that asset portion. And they can click on the more info button here and see what that looks like. So now you can have a conversation with your borrower that, I'd like to help you increase your net worth by over $200,000 in refinancing. Do you think that you're going to get very many people that will say, no, I don't want you to show me how to increase my net worth by over $200,000 in refinancing? That's what I mean by creating a star moment with your client. So I'm going to pause here for a second, make sure that we have, answer any questions that you may have. Neil, you just put a question in there. Let's see, is there anything to show the benefits of paying off credit card debt on a cash out refinance? And I can't do it in this one just yet, but I can give you a little bit of a teaser, I guess. We have a very robust debt consolidation work presentation that's going to be coming out. It's going to be made available. We're just in the final phases of wrapping up our beta testing on it, but it will do. I mean, it'll knock your socks off on where you can show, paying off debts, how much interest it's going to save them over time. I hope to be able to start sharing that in the February BlackBelt workshops as soon as it gets released to everybody, so that everybody has access to it. You'll be impressed. Let's see here. Merrick had a question. Is there any way to show the savings and option, and number 1 reflects the net worth, but show the monthly payment difference in panel 1? Okay. So I think what you would want to do, Merrick, is just make sure that you're utilizing all the graph areas. So this graph up here is still going to show, remember, your monthly payment difference. So you're still going to be able to utilize this area up here for their monthly payment difference, but then here also show the net worth. So you can adjust these two. This one's always going to be structured towards monthly payment difference. So I think that answers your question. If not, if you could maybe clarify, and I'll be happy to adjust that. But folks, again, I'm going to go ahead and make all these available, all product options. So that way, when you look at the presentation, you'll see all 4 product options. And like I said, this could be, if you save the link, I'm not going to delete the link. You could use this as a template and have all 4 product options if you want them, or just the ones that you think are going to be the most, relevant to your book of business. But that link is available for you so that, you could utilize it and build the exact same presentation. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at a cash out refinance here. And, or you know what, I should probably make sure that I'm covering your most requested, Nick's most requested presentation. I can quickly touch on the cash out, but I think the move up buyer or in the cost of waiting were the next two. So let me just go to my dashboard here real quick. And let me show the cash out real quick. Neil, your question about changing the order. When you build it, absolutely. You can change it and put them in order, whatever you wish. So you have control over which options you want to place. After it's built, it's a little bit trickier to start switching them around in different orders. I would say, just think about it strategically before you build it, and you'll start to recognize, okay, this is what I want to lead off with. This is going to be my number one pitch. And then I'm going to have my number two pitch. And then I'm going to also have a third one just in case I need to bring it up when I'm having a conversation with them. But you'll strategically, and based upon your conversations, I think you're pretty much going to know what you're going to want to have in that number one slot. Let's take a look at this, this cash out refi here real quick. So within the advice engine, you have the ability to build a presentation and dictate, specifically how much cash the borrower is going to want to net cash in hand. And let me just take a moment and show you how you would do that real quick. So when you're over here and you're establishing your goals, you'll notice the different goals that you have the ability to utilize here. Tap into my equity and you can see the figure of $25,000 there. What that's going to do is it's automatically going to add that figure to your base loan amount so that the borrower is going to be able to net. So when you're having a conversation with your client, know, is that what they're expecting to have in their hands, or are they going to get $25,000 and then from the $25,000 that would cover the closing costs as well? So just make sure that you know which is which, what their expectation is. So here it's clearly demonstrating that they will walk away with $25,000 cash in hand, and that's after paying all the closing costs. And what you can do as well, when you're working with the client, they may, again, talking about options, right? They may want $25,000, but what you could potentially do is show them that, you could you could go up to 80% and perhaps not have any change. I mean, you're taking cash out. You can take it to the max LTV and not have it impact your interest rate in any way. So this is showing what they asked for. And then the next step is you're just showing them what they could potentially take without it having an impact on their interest rate. They're going to the full 80% rather than just the 25. And then you could show them the payment difference and then let them, again, take ownership. And you know what? I was maybe thinking about adding, I do have another product or project that I was thinking about doing, and I didn't know if we could, maybe take a little bit extra cash out. They didn't know to ask for that extra little bit. So it's all about giving them options. So if you can, if there's room, show them what the max is as well as what they asked for here. And then you could show them, the difference in the payment, and then they can make the decision as to, do they want to, have that extra little bit of payment, or is it going to be beneficial? Are they going to be content with the $25,000 cash in hands? So just another way that you could show them how to do that. One tip when you're doing refinance transactions here, one thing that again, we're talking about conversations that you have with your clients. If they want everything included in the loan amount where they don't come out of pocket for anything except for maybe the appraisal, if they have to pay for the appraisal out of pocket, just make sure that you're adding color to all your closing costs here. If you are using fee templates, you're adding color to these squares, and you can actually click on this button and it'll automatically do that for you. So that way, it not only takes into account the debt that you're paying off, their existing mortgage, the cash out that they're expecting, and all the closing costs in there for them, so that they are going to be getting exactly what they look for in the $25,000 there. So any questions about that? And again, strategically, it's just building the presentation and taking it just one step a little bit further to paint a different picture than what your competition is providing them. And again, they didn't know that it's only going to cost them $50 more to get an extra, $11,000 and be able to, complete that extra project that they wanted to do, that didn't know that they could do. So just taking it that one step further. Okay, let's go to the move up buyer presentation here real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this one. Move up buyer presentations are obviously, great for painting the picture for your client. And Dave mentioned the Amber Kavar presentation, where she actually right now, and this is a tip for you as well, when you're meeting with your clients, of course, you're having conversations about refinancings. That's what they initially reached out to you for, right? But you might also ask them, work this into your conversation with them when you're finding out what their hopes and dreams are, what their goals are, is, how does your current home fit your needs? And what Amber found out is 1 in 5 people, that's 20%, 1 in 5 people were answering, you know what, this home really isn't fitting my current needs, because both my wife and I are working from home and we're fighting over the office, who has to work in the dining room, or, we just had a new family member, just had a new child, or my mother-in-law is coming to live with us. And the place isn't big enough. So you can actually show them what it would look like to move up and what impact it would potentially have on their payments. Let me go ahead and share this presentation with you real quick as well. So this is just a straight move up buyer presentation. And if you take a look at it, it shows, the borrower's current situation right here. You can see that they currently have, let me get rid of all the highlights here. You can see that the borrower currently is in this situation right here. They have a loan that they currently owe about $272,000 on. They've had property appreciation. The value of their home has gone up. It's now worth about $500,000. This is their current interest rate, and they might have reached out to you for a refinance. Well, what you could show them is that they could potentially move up to a home that's $50,000 more in value, utilize the equity that they have in their home, and take advantage of the lower interest rates. And what impact is that going to have on their monthly payment? What is $50,000 more in home value going to do for them? Is it going to get them that third bedroom? Is it going to get them a home in a better school district? Is it going to get them a home with a swimming pool in the backyard? Whatever the case is, you could show them that the impact on their lifestyle may only be like $55 in this case. And you can see the amount of cash that they're going to have to bring in. I mean, it's only after they take into account taking the proceeds from their existing home and applying it to the down payment on the new home, it's going to be very minimal, maybe a couple mortgage payments. And you can also show them, if you wanted to, like here's the same option, but rather than putting all of that money into the down payment on the new house, maybe they're a little uncertain and they'd like to keep a little, if you will, call it powder dry. They want to keep some money in reserves. They want to put that money into an investment account. They only want to put down, say, 10%, that you could see here. You can paint the picture for them that, maybe putting 10% down is actually better for you long-term in creating more net worth for you if you do go ahead and move up. So again, this is a way that you can utilize Mortgage Coach once you've interviewed your client, found out what their goals are, to paint a picture that's going to have a big impact on them. You're solving, as a mortgage planner, a problem, or painting a picture for them that they might not have considered, that I didn't even know that was possible. I would love to be able to do that. That's awesome. Nobody else has showed me this information. So that's how becoming a black belt in Mortgage Coach and being able to utilize it to paint those pictures with your clients can help you, serve more families and close more loans. And of course, this one here, this option here, is just a slightly higher price point. It's showing them what $75,000 more in value could potentially do, and what's the impact that it's having on their monthly payment. But it's the value of the conversations that you're having with your clients to help you understand how to build presentations like this. Why would you want to do this? Learn this new technology. How is it going to help you serve your clients? How is it going to help you work faster? How is it going to help you have more of an impact when you're having conversations with your clients? And then for the nuts and bolts on how to build this, let me show you where you can go as far as resources to do this. So on our YouTube channel, I mean, there's just so many different videos that will help you. But to help you get there the fastest, what you can do is right up here, if you click on help. And what this will do is it'll take you into our support center. And say you want to know how to build a move up buyer presentation. All you do is click on move up buyer. And right there. So it's going to show you, it's going to give you, some FAQs, as well as a YouTube tutorial on taking you step by step on how to build the presentation so that you can have those conversations with your clients. This, by the way, is very good for your realtors also. If you have an opportunity, part of your goals for 2021 is your realtor partners and, sharing different information with them. When you do meet with your realtors, ask them if they know of any clients that this would be a good presentation to share with them, because they should know, 4 or 5 years ago, they helped somebody get into a house, a first-time home buyer. 4 or 5 years have passed. Something has probably happened in that home buyer's life where they would be a candidate to take a look at this presentation. So you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping your realtor generate business that way, and getting access to your realtor's database, by the way, and working together to serve a potential client in this case. So it's a great way to help yourself and to help your realtor partners, because what happens, what does this home buyer or this client have to do in order to get to that move up property? They have to sell that home, right? That's a commission to your realtor partner, and potentially another commission for the purchase of the new home. So a double commission for your realtor. That's motivation, right? So there you go. We are at the top of the hour, and I just want to make sure that I answer any questions that you have. And it looks like, Dave, any closing words that you want to share?
Yeah, well, so first of all, guys, thanks for spending an hour with us. Hopefully you got some new speed tips on how to use Mortgage Coach. We moved the needle at helping you become a black belt. We want this Wednesday training to become just a hallmark of, this is where the industry comes to become a black belt at mortgage advice. So if you have suggestions on how we can make this training better, you can put those in comments right now. If you do need ongoing help, remember, if you need support, you can email support@mortgagecoach.com. We also have a support chat in the advice engine in the bottom right-hand corner. And then for strategic selling support, be active in our Facebook group, Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. It's a great place to ask questions. It's a great place to celebrate your success. When you hit brown belt, when you hit black belt, when you are proud of something that happened, feel free to share that in our group. And those were my closing thoughts. Brian, any questions that come in that I need to answer, or anything that you think I should add color to?
No, I think we're good to go. Let's see here. Neil wanted I think you wanted the move up buyer presentation. I just put it in the chat area for you. So you've got access to it. But
Let me share my screen one more time, Brian.
yeah, absolutely. Let me stop here.
Yeah, I just want to remind you guys that there is a special playlist that we'll be adding to it. You know, like as we do these interviews, we'll add them to this playlist. As we have specific videos that both teach mortgage strategies and there's interviews, we'll put them in here. Also, Brian, did you talk about our mortgage strategy page on our website? Did that come up at all?
No, actually, I didn't. If you could go ahead and
Okay,
share that, that'd be
one
great.
last thing, and then we do need to wrap, guys. On our webpage, under lender services, so you go to lender services, there's what's called mortgage strategies. And within each one of these strategies, you've got a title. So how to make refis faster with Amber. And when you click on that, each one of them, think of it as like an obstacle course, like learning a new superpower with Mortgage Coach. You'll have the interview, so you'll get to hear what she said and how she said it. And then you'll also have a link to her actual total cost analysis on that. So it doesn't necessarily have a how-to video, which Brian, you know, now that we're putting this in more focus, we might want to add how-to videos to these.
Hey, Mortgage Coach community, it's Amber Kovarik here. And
but you get to actually see Amber's total cost analysis, you know, the same way a consumer would see it. Sometimes the speaker puts a video on it. So just another training tool for you to become black belts in mortgage advice. So those were my closing thoughts. We really appreciate you guys.
All right, guys. Happy new, successful 2021. Take care.